Welcome to another episode of Mac Stories Unwind. I'm John Voorhees, and with me is Federico Viticci. Hey, Federico.
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I want to tell you about something that UPS did for me today. They actually brought me a package, which in and of itself, not super unusual. That's kind of what they do.
Yeah.
But they brought me a package with two things in it. And it had a lot of knock-on effects that were very positive. First of all, I was sitting in a coffee shop working away, and I got a notification that there was a guy at the door, and so it was the first real test of my new Ecobee smart home doorbell, right? And we talked about this just this past Monday in a town hall for Club Mac Stories Plus and Premier members that is going to be the bonus segment of next week's App Stories Plus. And this is all part of a big thing we're doing right now. And this is my little aside about our Club Mac Stories membership event. We've been doing town halls, we've been doing extra columns, we've been doing giveaways, discounts, a whole bunch of stuff the last week and all the way through October 31st.
Yeah.
And on top of all the bonus content that we're doing, we've got 20% off all annual plans. Every single tier that we offer, 20% off for an annual plan through October 31st. So you know what? By the time you hear this, you've only got a few more days to strike if you're listening to this right away. October 31st is next Tuesday. So go to plus.club and sign up for an annual plan. We'd really appreciate it. And you'll get a lot of really good stuff. All these giveaways that I've been doing in our Club Mac Stories Plus Discord this week and in Mac Stories Weekly, I've set the deadline for October 31st. So even if you join today, tomorrow, over the weekend, you'll still be able to get in and put your name in the hat for these giveaways, even though you didn't join when I announced them. So we've thought about everything, and we've got everything ready for everybody, and you get everything that we do by joining in the next couple of days.
Yeah. The video doorbell works.
So it works, yes. And there was this great UPS guy who had his fancy sunglasses perched up on his head, and he got snapshotted in my doorway because I wasn't home.
Sylvia caught me just sort of chuckling at my phone. She's like, "What are you laughing at?" I was like, "John sent me a picture of a UPS guy, and look how this guy's wearing sunglasses." And she got a good laugh out of it as well.
It was pretty good. So I was just sitting there working at a coffee shop. Saw the guy, so wrapped things up at the coffee shop, came home, picked up the package, which is a very special cable that you discovered in your deep dive into Reddit in the world of X-Real glasses, the AR glasses that act as a screen that projects, a screen into your eyes using glasses. And this is a very special cable because it has one USB-C in that goes into the device, like an iPad, for instance, and then it splits into two USB-C outs, one that is used for charging, and the other one that goes into like the glasses, which is what we're using it for. And it also even has a headphone jack built into it too. So it's got three things. And I tested it out, and it works really well. It's really cool.
Yeah, this is called the Red Magic USB-C adapter, and it's made by this company that I discovered thanks to Reddit. And it's apparently a cable made for these Red Magic Nubia phones that run Android. But it just so happens that this cable also can be used as a more compact adapter than, say, an external hub or dock if you want to charge your iPad while also using the X-Real glasses. I was looking for a more compact solution to do that. And as John can confirm, this cable does in fact work. So the people from Reddit, once again, were correct.
There's one more piece of this story, Federico, which is that the UPS guy came before lunch, which meant, as I told you, I have a guy. You have your guys, I have my guys. And I have a guy in our town who ships all my stuff to Italy. It's the Big Apple Buddy guy, basically, but North Carolina version. So there's a shop, and the guy does everything. He does UPS, FedEx, DHL, US Mail, everything. Copying, notarizing. He's my one-stop shop for this sort of thing. And so I go in and I chat with Mike. talk to him a little bit about what's going on, what a nice day it is. And I say, I got another package for you for that guy in Rome. And so,
Did you say that?
no, I didn't actually. But you are in their system because they said, "Oh, have you shipped to this address before? Because it's in our computer." I said, "Yeah, I
Okay.
have." I said, "Yeah, I have." So the good thing is they've got it and it's correct, so you know that it'll actually get there. So I dropped that off. So it's on its way to you by Monday. And then because it was before lunch, this same little strip mall has one of the best barbecue places around here in it. So I got myself a couple of pulled pork sliders and some hush puppies for a quick lunch before we
Wow.
recorded. Yeah.
That's a great way to optimize your time, and thank you for shipping the cable to me also.
Sure.
Thanks, John, and thanks, Mike, for taking care of all of this.
Yeah, everybody should go to see Mike at PostNet. It's a good little shop. Postnet is like a franchised business. They're all over the place, but my little local one is quite good. You know, it's been quite a week, Federico. I lost my internet on Monday morning.
It has been quite a week for you. What happened?
So, well, here's the thing. I have AT&T fiber optic cable into my house, and it was installed last fall when we moved into the place. And I woke up on Monday morning early, and almost immediately my internet just stopped working. And you know how it is. It's like all of a sudden you start getting notifications that your home hub is offline and that this camera is offline, and like, something definitely is happening here. It was completely out. And I don't get like business tier service from AT&T because they charge you an arm and a leg for that. I just have, consumer internet. It's still very fast. It's like 2 gigabit per second download speeds and upload speeds over fiber. But you don't get someone out to the house really quickly. And I got fairly fortunate though. I got a guy out before lunch the next day. So it was out for about 24 hours. He came and he showed me what the problem was. It's like the guys who buried it, the way they do this is they install it and they leave the wire sitting on the ground. And then they have another crew come by and bury it because, I guess these technicians, it's not in their contract to dig a hole. So they don't actually do the burying part. They have a different crew come do that. And when they buried it, they bent the cable at the place where it goes from the ground up to going partway up the wall in the back of our house.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea with fiber optic cable because it's glass. And, and while it can kind of bend, it can do curves, you can't crimp it. You can't like bend it like 90 degrees. And he showed me the cable that he took out and it was totally bent. And I guess it was just slowly failing for the full year, which does explain some very brief and weird internet issues I've had in the past, I think. But yeah, he replaced it and it was working right away. But I was lucky. I got a good AT&T guy. I've had very mixed success with AT&T, both when it comes to cell phones and when it comes to things like internet service. But I give them credit. They came out within 24 hours and the guy was very good and he explained everything and he fixed it. And now I'm just waiting for the crew to come back, bury the cable and break it again. So we shall see. But I was thinking about this, Federico, and I was thinking about plan Bs because this is one of those things like when you work for yourself, it's like, well, I don't have like a fallback. I don't have an office to go to. I don't have like a company that is going to send somebody out and fix it for me. The person is going to, if somebody from the company is going to send someone out to fix my internet, it's me sending myself out. And so I thought about this, and what I ended up doing Monday, because we had to record something, is I ended up renting a conference room in the co-working facility I go to. And that's kind of my plan B. That's my insurance policy, is a co-working space with very fast internet, Wi-Fi in particular. And that's kind of what I did. And I was wondering, what's your plan B if like your internet went out in your house?
Okay, so if I have to record a podcast, at this moment, I don't have a plan B. Because I don't have any other quiet space where I can sit by myself. But at least for internet, you have do you still have your tethering thing that you had before? Hold on.
Okay.
So if it's a podcast, I guess, and if I absolutely cannot reschedule that, I guess I could try in my garage because I do have
Really?
I do have a portable modem with a SIM card in it and an Apple TV connected to it because I installed a HomeKit camera in my
Oh, I
garage,
remember that.
which
Yeah.
I turned into a separate quote unquote home in the Home app. It's just called Garage. And because I want to keep an eye on it. And I mean, it's going to be slow internet, like 10 megabits down or whatever. But I mean, worst case scenario, I could somehow find like, get one of those portable like picnic tables that we have and use that and stay there. For no internet, I have plenty of options. So obviously, I can tether. I have my phone. I don't have a cellular data plan on my iPad anymore. I mostly use personal hotspot on the phone.
Same.
But I've been missing the ability to have cellular on my iPad, so I'm thinking about it. That said, I have access to our building as a co-working room.
There you go.
At the ground floor, and there's internet there. Now it's the same service provider as the one I have in my home. So if there's like an area level outage, I'm out of luck. If it's just my line and I need fiber, I could go to the co-working room. There's going to be other people. Every once in a while, there's somebody there who needs to be on a Zoom call or Microsoft Teams call or whatever. So I'm not alone, but I can grab a chair and work from there.
Yeah. I was going to say, I should clarify that I cannot tether because my AT&T mobile service is not strong enough to do a podcast from home. That's why I went to a conference room, because I typically in my office, I get 1 bar of service and maybe I get 2 bars if I go up to a higher floor. It's really, really bad in this neighborhood. It's one of the biggest downsides of the place we picked to live. I mean, I have fiber, which is fine most of the time, but my fallback, it just can't be tethering. Like the morning after this happened, when I was working from home, I did tether, and I can surf the internet and send email and, send text messages, but there's no way the signal is good enough to like sustain a Zoom call.
But also, even worst case scenario than that, I can always work from my car, which is something that I'm very much used to doing on a weekly basis. And I know that you have questions about it. I have done it before, even like, for example, a few weeks ago, there were some workers at Silvia's house. We were in Viterbo, and I couldn't go to my mom's place because I had the dogs with me, and my mom has also dogs, and I got to keep an eye on them, otherwise they get into fights with each other. So I was like, you know what? There's workers in the house. I cannot go to my mom's place. I'm just gonna stay in the car for a couple of hours. And it's honestly some of my most productive time is when I sit by myself in the car with Zelda and Ginger sleeping in the back seat, and I'm just minding my own business, no distractions, just there. I pulled the seat a little farther back from the steering wheel so I have more leg room in front of me, and it's perfect.
Doesn't the steering wheel still get in the way of your iPad?
You gotta find your angle.
Okay.
It's cozy, but it's doable. I have written entire articles for Mac Stories from that position. I've built shortcuts. I have done briefing calls with Apple. I've done it all except recording a podcast, but I've done it all from the car.
All right. Yeah, I was going to add, the reason I asked about the steering wheel is because actually last weekend, Jennifer and I were going out running some errands, and she wanted to go into this one store that I had no interest in going into. And I was busy with something that I was trying to get done. So I told her, you know what, I'm going to wait in the car and use my iPad Pro. And it was a little challenging, even putting the seat back. Obviously I'm not a pro like you. I was wondering if maybe you moved over to the passenger seat or something.
Well, no. So yeah, actually, I don't know why I never do it. I should totally do it. I guess that it's probably part of me wanting to always be a control freak, because I always have the thought, what if I need to leave in a hurry? I'm
Right.
ready to drive. But like, do, do I ever need to leave in a hurry if I'm just
Right.
waiting and
Right.
getting work done? So actually, yeah, the more practical answer is just move over to the passenger seat and be more comfortable. I should actually start doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's very. It would be pretty unlikely that you'd have to escape very quickly from
Yeah.
from a parking
From
lot.
who? I don't know. I don't know what I'm escaping from. But yeah, from the car, and in Viterbo, there's great 5G.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, there's fantastic 5G in this area of Rome where I live, and yeah, that's my other backup option. I don't think I have other backup options. Obviously, there's always like this portable modem that I mentioned.
Right.
There's like a 50 gigabytes per month sort of data plan on it. That's my other backup solution. Right now, I'm just using it for my HomeKit camera in the garage, and the sort of the bandwidth consumption for a HomeKit camera that doesn't stream all the time is very low.
Right.
So yeah, that's also what I would recommend. Either get a data plan on your iPad or get one of these portable modems with a SIM card in it that allows you to have, typically like 10 to 20 megabits down, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could disconnect that cellular modem that you have and in the garage and take it with you if you had to, or something like that. I think you've kind of answered my question too, which is why you don't work at coffee shops, because I guess you prefer the solitude of your car, right?
I do. This is something that changed about me over the years. When I started Mac Stories, well, I was much younger. It was almost 15 years ago. And I could write, and I used to write a lot, like multiple articles per day with people around me talking, making noises, working, just, people walking around the house. Now I cannot do it anymore. I can edit with other people around me, but if I'm in a creative mode, like if I'm writing or making a shortcut, for example, I prefer being by myself. Yeah, I prefer, and the car is perfect. And in fact, the cozier the environment, the better. Like, I feel I really like working from the car because it's very small and contained.
Right.
And I feel like I'm protected on all sides with the dogs sleeping behind me. I feel very safe.
Well,
in
it's
that
also a very
place.
consistent setting, right? I mean, the inside of your car
Yes.
doesn't change ever. It's always just basically the same. So
It's always the same. There are no distractions. There's the AC if it's hot outside. Yeah, it's I love it. I love it. I enjoyed. This was a very unplugged sort of episode of Unwind.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about this because it all started with my fiber outage, because I was at the co-working facility on Monday, and then today I sent you some pictures. I was in a coffee shop that has a second floor that's basically a co-working space. Essentially, they have great Wi-Fi there, and I just love hanging out there because it's a really cool space. And if I can get in there when it's not too hot, the problem is it's on the second floor of an old building, and in the middle of the summer, it's way too hot. But this time of year, it's comfortable, it's cozy, it doesn't get too crowded until later in the day. So if I go there early in the morning, I can work for 2 or 3 hours, and then I'll come home and work at home, because I do like to kind of mix it up a little bit. All right, Federico, that's it for this week. We will have picks next week for everybody. Thanks for joining us for this episode. Don't forget to join Club Mac Stories, 20% off on annual plans through October 31st. Just go to plus.club. You can find the two of us over at macstories.net. Federico and I are both on Mastodon. Just go to viticci.macstories.net or johnvorhees.macstories.net. Follow us there. And we're on Instagram, where Federico is at Viticci. That's VITICCI. And I'm at John Voorhees. JOHNVOORHWS. Talk to you next week, Ticci.
Ciao, John.